everybody. In today's video, I'm going to show you a extreme 3D grape soda that is pouring over a nail, and I mixed the color for the actual grape soda and I used the Madam Glam purple jelly color, which I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'll put the name in the description box below, as well as some purple glitter, and that combination of semi-sheer gel polish and glitter made this really perfect soda-like sparkly fizzy looking thing. So I really love that combination, and the little can is just so adorable. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe so you can see all my future videos as well.
So we're going to start with an overlay of a very light purple acrylic. This one is almost kind of like a foggy, milky color, and it's barely purple. It's kind of one of those colors that has just a slight hint of color. I really like it, actually. It's one of my favorites just because it creates a very basic background and definitely goes with our grape soda theme. And now we're going to be filing that nail in shape with the e-file. Make sure it is nice and strong, and then apply a layer of gel sealer over the top of it. And now we're going to drill a hole through the middle of the nail. So just straight through, pretty much all the way, as small of a hole as you can. And now around a straw, we're going to start sculpting our can. So I have a darker shade of purple acrylic, and I'm going to just begin. This is the very first layer of the can. It doesn't have to be super smooth. You just want to get a base down. And as soon as you have that base, you can work from now on perfecting and filling it in. But to get this first layer is just kind of I don't know. I always like to think of these beginning steps as sketching, even though obviously you're not sketching, but it's just like the sculpting version of sketching. You're just getting all the rough shapes in. You're not worried about details. You're just getting in the basics. So we're going to do this. The reason I'm adding a couple layers to it from the beginning is to make sure it's strong enough, because as you kind of pull it off that straw that we're working on, if it isn't thick enough, you can very easily just smush what you just worked on. So now I'm going to slide that off the straw, and then I'm going to file both ends of my cylinder to make sure that they're nice and strong. Place a bead of silver acrylic down on a nail form backing, and then set your can beginning right on top of it. And now I'm going to do the other side with black. So I finished off one side of my can with silver and the other side is black. That's just the beginning steps. Again, we're just doing layers. So now the next layer is going to be the top of the can. So that's on top of the black side. Place another bead of purple acrylic, and then with a dotting tool dipped into some powder, into some acrylic powder of any color, pretty much, we're going to create kind of an opening in the middle. So if you look at a can, the sides are straight, and then both the top and the bottom, they taper up and down. So they kind of curl in just a little bit. So we did that with our brush just by pushing that purple in. I'm going to file the top of that again, and then just file it going around to make sure that that angle is pretty uniform all the way around the can. And then on the inside, if it isn't super smooth, that's not a huge deal. You just want a little bit of an indent on the top of it. I'm going to add a little bit more purple. So the black line shows from where that top of the can was. And so really, if you didn't want to do it with black, purple would have been a fine alternative, and then it would eliminate the step of covering up the black. But the good thing with the black is it kind of creates a dark interior look when you have the hole in the top of the can, and depending on the way you position your little mini can, it may really help. So now on the other side, or this is still the top of the can, never mind, we're going to fill in that middle hole area with some of our silver acrylic, and then going back to our dotting tool, we're going to create the opening for where you would, pour the can or drink from the can. So just fill in around that so that you have a nice silver top to it. And then after you have that where it's pretty much filled in, I'm going to add a little bit more black acrylic to the hole. Like I said, you wouldn't have had to do it with the black like I did, but it does work either way, whatever you prefer. And then fill in that top just to make sure it's nice and level and smooth. You had kind of a pretty deep indent from where the top of that purple was sculpted. So you have to fill all that in while leaving that hole open. And then taking more of my silver and a very small section at a time, we're going to be adding that little rim. So there's the area where the aluminum has a lip on it, so it's not sharp. And this is the area we're doing now. And like I said, do tiny sections at a time. It's a very tedious process, and it's kind of a meticulous one. So make sure that you're all ready. You don't need to go to the bathroom or do anything like that. Anytime I'm working on a design and I have to pee, I always get so distracted, and I have such a hard time working on it because all I can think of is the fact that I need to go to the bathroom. So that's why sometimes I mention these weird things, like make sure you don't have to, get a drink or go to the bathroom or anything, because those are the things that pester me like nothing else. I can work contently for hours as long as I'm not thirsty or need to go to the bathroom. But if I do, then, you know, all bets are off. So now on the bottom, so just flip that can over, place a bead of silver acrylic down right on top of the silver base that's already there. Take your dotting tool and make like a little swirly movement in the middle of it to create another ring on the bottom for the base of the can. And I'm wearing gloves, so I actually just tapped it with my finger. If you aren't wearing gloves though, use a brush to tap on the bottom to flatten it out if you need to. So now we're going to drill a little hole through the top of the can where you get down to that black, and then I'm going to take a piece of wire and glue it into the hole in the top of the can, because that's going to be the base of our pouring soda, and then glue the other end of your wire into the hole that's in the nail. And now on a nail form backing, we have to sculpt the little pull tab for the can with more silver acrylic. So if you want to go crazy and make the holes in the pull tab, go for it. I thought I'd simplify it and just make an oval, and then I can draw in the holes later. And so glue that onto the top of the can right above the hole. Use a little tweezers to help for sure. And now with green paint, we're going to begin painting the Crush logo on the side of the can. Now, if you are somebody that really likes gel paint instead, I would probably wipe down the can with some acetone just to smooth out, as there's little scratchy textures on the can from piling it, and it just makes it so hard to paint with gel paint. So if you do have, a gel paint preference, then I would either apply some base coat before painting the logo, or go with just a little bit of acetone to smooth it out, or buff it if you want to buff it too. That's always an option. But now I'm going to be doing a black drop shadow on the bottom of the logo, so just kind of outlining that very bottom edge. And then we have to paint the word grape, since this is Grape Crush, and that is with white paint, so that's underneath the word crush, which isn't actually a word quite yet. It's the start of a word. And then with white paint, we're going to fill in that green logo. So the Crush logo has a little, see me making a mess on there too? Sometimes, but it has a little citrus wedge that's at the very top of it. So I'm going to start there with that citrus wedge, and then go through and fill in all the letters of the word crush. So start with the C, go around, and take your time with this. Don't rush. Make sure that your paint is a nice consistency for working with it. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too runny, and to kind of play around with that texture, which is something that it's a lot easier to make your paint thinner. It's not as easy to make it thicker. And if you do end up over diluting your paint, the best way to fix it is to leave your paint open for like 20 minutes and then shake it up, and then leave it open for 20 more minutes and shake it up until some of that water evaporates out of it. But that's sort of a big hassle. But if you need it to be thinned out, just mix in a touch of water, like 3 drops, and then you're good to go. Fill in that citrus wedge with some yellow paint, and then with a lavender color, we're going to be adding a drippy sort of splash going all the way around the logo. So try not to be too meticulous with this particular part of it. Just sort of let the paint go where it wants to go and create that very wavy pattern all the way around. Add some white highlights to your splash going all the way around the design, and then with orange add some details to your citrus wedge. And now with a purple and glitter mix, I'm going to be doing all of my soda, pouring down that layer and then all over the nail. So when you're doing this, depending on how much glitter you put in, the more glitter you add to your gel polish, the thicker it'll be, and the more it'll kind of hold its shape. You can kind of create some drippiness that's 3D on the wire. And for me, I did it 1 coat, and then I cured this, and then I added a 2nd coat to build in those drips to kind of give it a little bit more texture down the wire so it doesn't look just so smooth. Now I'm going to be applying some gel sealer over the can and then over the gel polish soda, and then this nail is going to be all done. Make sure you get in all the little nooks and crannies of your can so it's all shiny. And then over that, and since the background of the nail already has some gel sealer on it, you can be a little bit sloppy with it and just apply it over the whole nail if you want. But then that's it. I absolutely love this design. I think it is just so colorful, and I love purple, so I'm all over it. I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and please share any recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to see them, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!